Hey, y'all, it's Jake. Welcome back to another episode of the Fat Gay Texan, the show where we talk about almost anything, nothing's off the table, and we do not throw political correctness out the window because we never let it in the house to begin with. I want to speak for a brief moment about the reason I hate people who hate real equality, real in quotation marks. It's such a common topic these days for people. Equality, equality, equality. Many people go around expressing that they want it or there's a lack of it. And this rhetoric often seems like it's coming from an old school Baptist preacher just preaching away from their pulpit. Do as I say, not as I do. They have this self-righteous air about them, and it's really annoying. And the last thing these ministers of equality desire is real equality, particularly when it applies to themselves. See, for me, true equality is very simple. It means adhering to a set of rules that apply to everyone, regardless of their background or status. However, attempting to live by this definition, which is essentially what equality is, often leads to backlash. In the United States, the vast majority of people are in a relatively level playing field, in my opinion. While there are still instances of bigotry and hatred, the laws governing the country strive to provide equal treatment for all Americans. These laws are not designed to eradicate prejudice. That's a mindset. So is bigotry and hatred and homophobia. That's a mindset. There's not a law that can prevent that. And the legalizing of gay marriage, for example, does not guarantee universal acceptance. Some individuals equate the existence of these detractors as a lack of equality. They yearn for universal approval, something that you're never going to get. The reality is that there will always be someone who dislikes you, your beliefs, or your actions. It's normal to encounter individuals who do not hold you in high regard. The key is to be connected with being yourself and not be overly concerned if someone doesn't like you. It's natural to have people who dislike you. Ultimately, it is essential to mature and recognize that life is too short to fret over trivial matters such as who's permitted to use what restroom or what your pronouns are. I'm a huge believer in, I'm proud of it. If you don't like me, good. It makes me happy. It would be annoying to be liked by everyone, wouldn't it? And I really hope that if you dislike me for some part of my personality, because that means I have a very interesting personality. Now, it is stupid to hate anyone based on race. It is stupid to hate anybody based on sexual orientation. It is stupid, kind of, to hate somebody because they boast about their love for organic foods. Joking, but not really. But this whole thing about if we just had equality, no, it doesn't make a utopia, you dum-dum. No. Most people in this country, every law, there's not one law out there that does not protect everyone when it comes to these things people are talking about. Everyone is on an equal playing field, legally. And that's the difference you have to realize. Legally, everyone's on an equal playing field. Now, some of you listening may say, well, what about the trans people and everything else? That is a different topic, but that is like 0.001% of the entire population. And yet they take up 90% of everything we talk about nowadays. But everyone's on a legal playing field that is equal. That does not mean in the real world, people won't dislike you. You won't come across some bigoted jackass. Just like it's illegal to speed, and yet everybody speeds. So just because there's a law in place, but people protesting and the government needs to do, what left is the government to do? The government's job in this stance is to make laws that are anti-discriminatory and protect the citizens and enforce those laws when they're broken. But if someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean that the equality doesn't exist. Maybe they just don't like you. Maybe you're a horrible person. Or maybe they are a bigot. And, there are still those people out there that are just freaking, They just cannot get it through their minds that someone can be different than them and it is okay. And that leads on to a bigger topic, which we won't get into completely, but it is okay to have a difference of opinion. See, that's not what equality is either. Equality doesn't mean everyone believes the same thing. The equality that you're protesting for, that people protest for to the government, is just laws. Those are already in place. And in my opinion, my personal opinion, protesting and acting childish and throwing fits and all those other stupid toddler-like behaviors people have do nothing to sway my mind at all. These stupid sit-ins and everything. And then, God forbid, the virtual sit-ins where you just sit at your computer. Like, we all don't do that anyway. Maybe your phone nowadays. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And to me, it's so funny, too, that we preach about equality. I just want to be treated equal. And yet you spend all day pointing out how different you are. Think about it. Gay pride, all those stupid other little festivals and holidays, and then organizations for this group of people and that group of people, and I'm this and I'm that. Hello. And then you say, treat me as an equal, but let me tell you how different I am than you. That doesn't fly. That's not even logical. It's not logical. Pointing out your differences does not help you win the battle for equality. I'm very tempted to go into the subject I want to talk about later, and I'm trying really hard not to, but I will just say this briefly, and there's actually going to be a whole other podcast about this in more detail. But all I know is the gay era I grew up in, all we wanted was to be able to live our lives like everyone else, not be noticed, buy a house in suburbia, although it's not my style, but, buy a house in suburbia and just be kind of left alone, just be allowed to live a normal life. We didn't want anyone to even recognize the fact that we were gay. That was the whole point of it. It's like, can I just live next door to you without you spray painting, nasty words on my house? That's what we wanted, just to blend into society, just to be able to do, those were the equal rights we were fighting for, just to be able to do what every straight couple in America was able to do. We knew people wouldn't like us all the time, but we just wanted those rights. We wanted to blend in, to kind of disappear, to be so normal that it wouldn't even be thought of. And yet now, it's like the exact opposite movement is taking place. Look at me. Look at me. I go to the store and I buy $400 worth of Pride gear every month, in June. Notice me. Look at this. I'm this and I'm that and I'm that. Now, whoa, dude, when I was younger, I was just Jake. I just said, hey, I'm Jake. I just wanted you to know me as that. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care what you do in your free time. I don't care. And that's all we wanted. And now this fight that so many people fought so hard for, just to blend in, just to have that same American dream, even if it is somewhat fantasized, just to have that. Now it's all being destroyed. And they've added so many other weird things in to the LGBT XYZ God who I can't keep up with it anymore. They've added so many weird things into it now. Now it's making gay people look bad all over again. And gay people are not confused about their gender. They are not, non-binary, wherever the heck that means. They're none of these things. They are just men who know they are men, women who know they are women that just happen to be attracted to the other sex. That's it. America had almost gotten over that. America was almost accepting of it. And then people come in and they just freaking destroy it with adding all this other weird crap on there, and then drag queens reading to kids in school and all that crap. Oh my God. We had it. We had, as good as we're going to get, our version of equality, our version of being normal, our version of just being the family that lives next door, and people went ahead and screwed that up. It pisses me off. So back to the normal topic. Yeah, that's what true equality is about in my book, in my America, as Judge Judy would say, in my America, being equal means the same rules apply to you, and you just kind of fly under the radar. No one even notices because we're all the same. And I truly believe in my heart, we are all the same. And isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? Just know some people are not going to like you. And throwing fits and acting like a toddler and acting weird and dressing stupid and confusing people, not going to win the race for you. Never going to do it. Just think about it. Life is too freaking short. Just be who you actually are, not the person you want to be, per se, not the person that you pretend to be, not the person you think that's going to get the most likes on TikTok, not the person that is the most controversial family member at the family reunion. Just be you. And don't give a shit what the rest of the world thinks. Who cares? Just be you. You're going to be so much happier if you just sit down and be who you really are on the inside. Not who you have been influenced to be. Just you. Just the person who enjoys a long walk on the beach. Just the person who enjoys getting out there and fixing a car. Just worry about that. Because at the end of the day, at any second, you can drop dead. I mean, I could drop dead during this podcast. Wouldn't that be a collector's item? And you want to look back at your life and say, I spent my whole life being miserable because so-and-so didn't like me or accept me for who I am? Get over it and move on. Anyway, sorry I got so angry on that, but it just frustrates me, y'all. People don't know what they have. They don't know how good they have it. So many groups that were marginalized, even 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, have it so much better than they ever have. And for a very brief moment in American history, we lived with it and we were okay with it. But now, even though you've had it better than you've ever had it in your life, you come back and say, that's not good enough. We want more. What they're saying is, we want special treatment. When people, instead of preach on myself, when people bitch and moan about equality, but when people bitch and moan about equality, that's what most people are talking about. I want special treatment. Because the minute I don't give in to you, because I don't give in to anyone else, you're automatically saying, I'm not being treated as an equal. No, you're being treated very equally, which means if I don't do this for Bob, I'm not doing this for Frank. Do the same thing. Judge Judy says, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. And I changed that up. If you do the same thing, you don't ever have to remember what you did. So if me treating you the same way I treat everyone else offends your version of equality, then you're wanting special treatment. Thank you for listening. This is Jake with the Fat Gay Texan.